Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Ashram. It is by the compassion and grace of Bhagwan that we had one more session of the puja of Nama flowers. Knowing this to be a huge grace, let us offer our grateful pranams at the holy lotus feet of Bhagwan. We have been going through some of the experiences of the devotees, which are stories of his glory, his Nama's glory. The stories may be ordinary and of the world, but remember, it is his grace behind it. We get to know that everything happens only by his will. And whatever happens, happens by his will, and therefore a definite blessing. Now today, we shall see how Bhagwan came to the rescue of some devotees in difficult situations. Some time back, Shri Anand of Singapore wrote to convey two of his experiences with Bhagwan's Nama. He said in 2013, the deforestation in Indonesia, the forest fire started, and it was going on and on and on, a very huge level, with the result, there was this huge haze, a cloud of smoke, a huge cloud of smoke began to move towards Malaysia, Singapore, the southern Thailand, and other East Asian countries, especially Southeast Asia. He said this cloud of smoke was there day after day. So much so, at one point he was unable to breathe. It was getting dark all the time, and this pollution control index, those people had come there, and when they measured, it read 401. They said 100, even 100 was a little ill health, but it was okay. 300 is a threat to life. And here the reading was 401. How could people breathe? A heavy bundle of smoke darkening the space, not only over Singapore, it was there over the space, the sky of the Southeast Asian countries. When it became too much for him, when he was unable to breathe, he began to pant for breath. And suddenly the thought struck him, if he, in his healthy body, could find it difficult to breathe, what to say of the pregnant women, the children, the old people? And suddenly, this feeling took over very strongly. He began to pray desperately. He said, Bhagwan, just see, Bhagwan, the sky is overcast all the time, heavy with smoke. It's become dark and we are unable to breathe. If this is the condition for me, what about these children, old people, the pregnant women? Will you not do something? Haven't you said you are the cosmic controller, that you run the whole cosmos? Please do something. Please help us. And then he began to chant Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama desperately, incessantly. And he said, people may not believe it, within hours it began to clear out, and soon there was a clear sky, and they were all able to breathe once again freely. How did he know? It was because of Yogi Ramsuratkumar, because of his prayer, because of his Nama. He said, the next 3 days, another 3 days, this cloud was hanging heavily over the other countries, whereas over Singapore, it was a clear sky. That's so much so, people began to wonder how this could happen to their country alone. They said different reasons. They said there was a strong wind, and this blowing of the strong wind carried away the clouds, and they were free. But Anand knew it was the wind of his grace that took it away, that removed it from the immediate space. And the others had to struggle and fight it with different technologies. Just see, chanting the name, how it eases up a situation, and so easily, with no gadgets. This is the glory of the name. He also reported another experience of his, which recently happened. In 2019, he was looking for a better job. And then one day he got a call from a HR, the Human Resources Development Officer from States, informing him there is such and such company and there is vacancy. You can apply and you would get it. That he would recommend him for the job. Believing that, he started to prepare. But fortunately or unfortunately, his visa would last for only 1 year, so he had to apply for renewal of that. So after he applied, in the meantime, he had this doubt, he had a confusion whether to leave the present job and go after this US job. He was chanting the name, probably because of which he had this doubt and confusion. Often the confusion turns out to be a blessing later on. And because of this confusion, he began to pray to Bhagwan, chanting his name, please guide me. I do not know whether I am going in the right path. This may involve a lot of money, and what's more, his documents would have to be prepared and handed over to the company where he had to take a job. And then it struck him again. A thought can be a blessing. A suitable thought may appear in our consciousness by the grace. He immediately searched for the details of the company in the website. The details were there previously, but now, after this thought came to him, after his prayer to Bhagwan, he found that those details were deleted. There was no more any information about the company. Immediately, he began to look for the HR's profile, and to his horror, he found it was a fake, a scam. He had prepared all the documents and kept them ready. Thank God, Bhagwan saved him before he sent the documents, before there was any loss of money. He says, I owe it to only Bhagwan's Nama. Often the haze that he found in the sky of Singapore happens in our mind also. Suddenly there is a cloud of confusion, a haze of confusion, and you do not know which way to go, which one would be right. And then when you chant the name and seek the help of the divine, then there is immediate clarity and you are led in the right path. The divine does not allow you to go astray. It happens often in the lives of many devotees. There are ever so many incidents like this. He remembered particularly one indication from Bhagwan when he prayed for the clearance of the cloud of smoke. And later, when he had applied for the job, when he was thrown into confusion, he began to pray and chant the name. Though he did not get any immediate directive, he found a moth which belongs to the family of butterflies. He found it in his bedroom. It would come from nowhere, sit in front of him until he went to sleep. This happened for 3 days. And that is when he knew that Bhagwan is there for me and he would make me do the right thing. It is then the thought struck him that he should look for the details of the company and the HR once again. And when he saw it, he found all that were deleted and that it was a fake, a scam. So Bhagwan also makes sure that the grace is coming from him. Now there's another incident. Justice Arunachalam's brother, Dr. Rajan, he's 84 now. His wife is 75 years. They are living in an apartment in Chennai with their daughter Chitra and her husband Shankar. Chitra's sister Shri, who lives in Mugappere with her husband, she visited Chitra And Chitra and Jayashree had gone out to buy some essentials. When they came back to their apartment, it was 7 p.m. It was already dark. So as soon as they came inside, they always did one thing. Before they left home for something else, they would pray to Bhagwan to look after the house and the people inside. So, that day also they prayed to Bhagwan that Bhagwan should look after the old people and the house. Of course, they promptly came back at 7 o'clock and there seemed to be nothing wrong at all with the whole setup. And they were planning to cook so that the dinner would be ready by 8 o'clock. By 7:15, Chitra got a call from the neighbor. They were living on the 4th floor and there were 4 apartments there. When she got a call from the neighbor said, "Look, our lives are in danger. There is fire on the 3rd floor in one apartment. The apartment people had gone away from Chennai to some other place for some holiday. But the fire had started there and it's burning inside. So it's better you people come out and go to the terrace. The 5th floor is only a terrace, and please go there. Save yourselves." As soon as she heard it, she thought the inside of their apartment seemed all right, and they switched off the main power and they began to chant Bhagwan's Nama vigorously, thinking that would do, just chanting the name would do. But then, within minutes, there was a bang on the door. The neighbors were also clearing out. They were also going to the terrace. On the way, they banged on their door, shouting, "Please come out. Don't stay inside. It's dangerous. Please come out." And immediately they came and opened the door, and to their horror, they found it was very dark outside and there was smoke and smoke. And then they realized the intensity, the emergency. And then they asked their father, 84 years, is a cancer survivor. And mother had Parkinson's disease, 75 years. So they had to, Chitra and her husband and Jayashree, they had to carry their mother up the stairs to the terrace, and their father somehow managed to climb up the stairs to the terrace. They would have spent about 3 minutes in the darkness and smoke while climbing up the staircase. And as soon as they reached the terrace, their mother was crying out in pain. And they laid her on a raised platform there and waited. Soon they could hear the police arriving, and they were followed by the fire service people. They broke the door open, went inside, and the investigation was going on. Of course, the fire was put out. In the bedroom, the bed was burning. They found out it was a firecracker that was thrown up, and a spark had fired. The plastic cover that was over the AC fixed on the window. And that's how it had burnt, the plastic cover, gone inside the bedroom, through the AC, and the whole place was burning. When the fire was put out, in the meantime, they had reached the terrace, and then it was building after building, and then fortunately, there was connection from one terrace to the other. So they somehow managed to go over to the next building and to the entrance of that, and people helped them out. And then they all together carried their mother also and went to the Mugaper house of Shri. And they could all return only the next day, 4 p.m. Afternoon 4 o'clock. Shri says they had spent only about 2.5 to 3 minutes in the dark smoke while climbing up the staircase, but for the next 2 days, their mucus was black. It would not clear out easily. Such was the density of the smoke that had gone inside the Chitra and Jayashri. They melted, their heart was melted, thinking how Bhagwan had saved their father and mother and how they carried them to the terrace. Just as had the neighbor not given a call, even after giving a call, they were very careless, and they still thought it was enough to chant the name and stay inside. And see, and then there was this bang on the door, otherwise they would not have come out. So everything happened one after the other by the grace of Bhagwan, and nothing serious happened to their apartment. So you can imagine for those people, especially living in the 3rd floor, 4th floor, if there should be fire in one apartment, how it could spread so easily to other apartments. It's because of the chanting of Bhagwan's Nama, invocation of grace, they were saved. Not only they, but also the other people, the other apartments. Now again, we see Leela after Leela, how the grace takes different forms in different situations, coming to the rescue of the devotees. Now why wouldn't Bhagwan stop the fire itself before it caught the whole apartment? He could save these people, but he could have also saved them from the whole incident. Now again, the haze, Bhagwan could have saved. You know, Indonesia fire, the forest fire, that could have been avoided. Why didn't the divine do it? It's only after we get to suffering, it's only after invocation of grace, the divine comes to our rescue. Why? Why couldn't we do it in the very first place? We know that these sufferings are on the card. They are on the agenda of our life. For some reason, it must be our past karmas that invited it. But then once you take refuge at the holy feet of a jnani, a great master who has become one with the Supreme, then at the slightest invocation of grace, we feel, we see how we are saved. Generally, the great masters remove 75% of our suffering. They leave the 20-25% for us to go through because it's necessary for our own preparation of mind, necessary for our spiritual growth. But even that is too much for us, and we cry out. But then, we would not think of God otherwise. We wouldn't call out. So it seems to be very necessary that these sufferings happen in life so that we get a push towards God. Now the world today is in the grip of this virulent virus, and there is panic in everybody's heart. I see so many people when they enter this Pradhan Mandir, there is fear in their face. It is very strange because you come to the place of God and here He is with His raised hand in benediction, with a smile on His lips. One look at Him, you know that you are in the presence of God and that you will be saved. But only the Divine can remove, uproot this fear, this panic from the hearts of people. Only the Divine can stop the spread of the disease. So we appeal to you, Bhagwan, again and again, day after day, for your immediate divine intervention to free the entire humanity from the clutches of this tiny Asuric virus and bring back normalcy to the world. Bhagwan, please enter the vaccine so that it would work. Here I must say that we can be very proud of India because 2 types of vaccines have been prepared. And what is more, India is exporting it. India is sending it to Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, and other Western countries. That the other countries are looking up to India for this vaccine, and the Nepal Prime Minister, Bangladesh Prime Minister, they're all praising India for its generosity in this difficult situation. How India has come forward to help the other countries. Yesterday I was telling you about the Chinese, how every household in China has someone or the other suffering from the COVID, and yet they do not go to the doctor, they do not take any medicine. And the report says that all that they do is drink hot water 6 times a day and inhale the steam 4 times a day. But today the report says that it's very dangerous to the membranes. Inhaling the steam 4 times is not at all good. It creates its own side effects. So the vaccine seems to be the best alternative, and the vaccination drive is on. Bhagwan, we pray to you that it works, that you must enter it and make it work, and it must reach the right people, people who deserve it. And all those brave soldiers who are in the field, fighting the disease against all challenges, at the very risk of their lives, please give them protection. And we seek a lift, a boost to the falling economy, and your support for all the measures towards its improvement. And Bhagwan, above all this, we always seek your blessings for constant remembrance of your name and the awareness that we are only instruments in your hands. And we seek your blessings to be good instruments in your hands to go about our lives. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.